Hi guys, it's Jessie and I am here to show you how to make the most delicious homemade yeast rolls that are even better than Logan's Roadhouse. The first thing I want to do is I want to get a cup of milk and half a cup of water in a microwave safe bowl, and I put it in the microwave until it reaches a temperature of 125 degrees. If you're working with yeast, temperatures are really important, so are measurements, weights, and things like that. So I actually have this thermometer and I got it from Walmart. It's pretty cheap. I mean, I think it was like $10 to $12 and it's digital. This is the way I'm going to tell when my milk and my water mixture are at the perfect temperature to not kill my yeast. You do not have to have a mixer. You can do all this kneading by hand. You just have to take a little bit longer to do that. But I did pull out my mixer today just to show you, but believe me, you don't have to have any special equipment. You just have to put in a little bit of work, but it's fine. So I want to add all of my dry ingredients to my mixing bowl. First is 1 teaspoon of sugar. The next thing is 2 teaspoons of salt. 2 teaspoons of yeast. Now, I need to say something about this yeast. I accidentally bought the bread machine instant yeast rapid rise. You can see it right here. This was an accident. I do not have a bread machine. So my recipe today is 100% built around this yeast, the bread machine yeast, because you can still make bread with it. You just have to make a few adjustments. So I'm telling you right now that this recipe is going to work with the bread machine yeast, okay? I might have to come out with a different recipe for regular yeast. 2 teaspoons. And again, this was a mistake. I did not realize it until I went to make rolls and I had to make adjustments. Okay. We're going to add 3.5 cups of bread flour. I am using gold medal bread flour, and the reason that you want to use bread flour is because it has more protein in there, specifically for yeast rolls. Just makes them better. 3.5 cups. Now I'm just going to mix all of these dry ingredients. All right, I have my milk and my water out of the microwave, and now I'm going to check the temperature, and I'm aiming for 125. Let's see. We have to go back in. We're not near that yet. All right, the temperature is perfect. I'm going to add this milk and water straight into my dry ingredients. I'm going to give it a mix with a wooden spoon. And then I'm going to add 1/4 of a cup of melted butter, and I'm going to check the temperature. And it's fine. It's going to go right in. And I'm going to incorporate that. And just as the dough starts to come together, we're ready to knead. Now I'm going to be doing this with my electric mixer for 10 to 12 minutes on speed number 2. And then if you do this by hand, you can just knead it a little bit longer. This is my red mixer. It's like my Cadillac. I'm going to add my attachments. I almost forgot. We're going to turn it on and we're going to let it do its thing for 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, I'm going to make sure that I get all of that dough off my dough hook. Okay, this is what it looks like. All right, and it is a little sticky, and that's okay. We are going to let this rest for 10 minutes. I'm going to put some plastic wrap over the bowl. Let that gluten get a little rest time to relax. Now during this first 10-minute rest, because of the type of yeast I used, it's not going to be rising a lot, maybe none at all. That's not what this is for. The dough just needs a little downtime. After 10 minutes, we're going to put it out on a floured board. We're going to section it, and I'll show you what comes next. Guys, we are almost to the finish line. Our dough has been resting for 10 minutes. Remember I said there was no rise going to be happening right now. I'm going to take a little bit of the bread flour, sprinkle it on my table or my board, and roll the dough out on it. Okay. Just like that. And it's been kneaded, so I'm not going to do any kneading. I was just going to simply fold it over itself and kind of make it oblong where I can cut it into 8 even rolls. I'm going to use my bench scraper. So I'm going to cut it in the middle. I had to move it down so you could see. I cut it in the middle, then I cut each half in half, and then I'm going to cut the 4 in half again. Then rolling the rolls out of the 8 pieces of dough, I'm going to show you up close what that looks like. So you're just going to take your dough, and I'm kind of folding it over on itself a couple of times. Not a lot because we've already kneaded this dough. Okay, just like that, and then I'm going to do it around and round in the palm of my hand to make a roll. Go straight into my buttered baking dish. I'm using glass, and I'm making sure that they're all touching. 2 more. Doesn't have to be intimidating, guys. This is not that hard to do, okay? You can do it. You may think you can't, but you can. You do it once, and you've got it. It's like riding a bike. Last one. Okay. And he's a little bit smaller. You can always steal some from another roll if you see that one of them got gypped. All right, now that my rolls are all in my pan, I'm going to cover them with plastic wrap and let them sit for at least an hour and until they are doubled in size, and then we'll be ready to bake. See you back in a minute. Okay, so my rolls have been rising for about 2 hours. Truthfully, an hour would have been sufficient, but I just let them keep going. Let me show you. So I went ahead and preheated my oven to 350 degrees, and I just have a tablespoon of melted butter and 1 egg. And I'm going to mix this up really well, and I'm going to brush the tops of my rolls. I'm going to pop them into the 350-degree oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. I'm just going to keep an eye on them, and when they get brown on top, I'm going to pull them out. All right, they're going in the oven. Okay, it's time to get the rolls out of the oven. Oh my goodness. It smells delicious. This roll is still super hot, but I want to show you the inside and I'm going to taste it. I mean, look how fluffy. There's a nice coating on the bottom. You have to make it. You have to. You don't have to go to Logan's for a great roll. Make them at home.